get me caught up in them fears. Playing, okay? This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got on one side all week. Got outside and I paid. Back to the vomit I ate. Foundation was chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint. And I only got God to thank. I can be caught up in them beers. I can be caught up in them beers. Ay, ay. Young Woo, Young Woo, wait a minute, wait a minute. Ay, 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 oh. I can be caught up in them beers. Playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got on my side all week. Got outside and I paid. Back to the vomit. Foundation was chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints. Yeah. Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold to thank. Oi, 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 oi. Ay, ay. Young Woo. Young Woo. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ay, 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 oh. I can be caught up in them beers. Playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got on my side all week. Got outside and I paid. Back to the vomit. Foundation was chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints. Yeah. Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold to thank. Oi, ay, ay. Young Woo. Young Woo. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ay, 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 oh. I can be caught up in them beers. Playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got on my side all week. Got outside and I paid. Back to the vomit. Foundation was chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints. Yeah. Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold to thank. Oi, 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 oi. Wait a minute. Ay, 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 oh. I can be caught up in them beers. Playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got on my side all week. Got outside and I paid. Back to the vomit. Foundation was chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints. Yeah. Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold to thank. Oi, 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 oi. Then I got back with the Saints. Yeah. Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold to thank. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint, and I only got gold to thank. Oi, 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 oi. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint, and I only got gold to thank. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint, and I only got gold to thank. Oi, oi. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint, and I only got gold to thank. Oi, 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 oi. I can be caught up in them beers. Playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got on my side all week. Got outside and I paid. Back to the vomit. Foundation was chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation was chipping like paint. Foundation was chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Foundation was chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation was chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint, and I only got gold to thank.
This is a record that's not on anything. This is like future stuff, end of the year type stuff. I'm quite progressed in a lot of my projects that are dropping up to like Christmas. So this is just all new stuff. I mean, I might throw it in something that's coming out, but highly doubt it because I got so much music I gotta crank out.
Then I got back with the Saints, paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint, and I own paint. Then I paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint, paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint, paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint, and I only got gold to thank. Oi, 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 oi. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah.
Yeah, tonight I'm going to be going through a couple of different projects. Like, I'm not spending the whole time on this record. The way my workflow goes is I typically have like 10 songs I'm coming in and out of or working on at a given time. So right now I'm gonna be touching up some stuff on a future album that's dropping in a month and a half, and then going through a lot of the new records that are dropping end of the year.
Then I got back with the Saints,
I appreciate you, by the way.
Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation with chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. And I only got vision with chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation. Vision with chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. Vision with chipping like paint. Then I got vision with chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. Vision with chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold today. Saints, Now my foundation is taint. Like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold.
Addo, you do not want to ask me that question, bro. I want you to guess.
Like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. Like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. Like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold today. Back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold today. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold today. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold today. Side all week. I can be caught up in them beers, playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got one side all week. Got outside that I paid. Back to the vomit I ate. Foundation with chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold today. I can be caught up in them beers, playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got one side all week. Got outside that I paid. Back to the vomit I ate. Foundation with chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold. I can be caught up in them beers, playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got one side all week. Got outside that I paid.
Here, let me give you a visual picture, and maybe you can figure it out. So, bam, 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 and that's not including my stuff.
I can be caught up in them beers, playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got one side all week. Got outside that I paid. Back to the vomit I ate. Foundation with me. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got one time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got one side all week. Got outside that I paid. No time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got one side all week. Got outside that no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got one side all week. Got outside that I paid. One side all week. Got outside that I paid. One side all week. One side all week. Got outside that one side all week. Got outside that I paid. Back to the vomit I ate. Foundation with chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold today. One side all week. Got outside that I paid. All week. Got outside.
I mean, bro, honestly, man, like, I work another job full time, so my mixing is all at night for about 4 or 5 hours, and I juggle between clients and my stuff. Thankfully, this month I cut off all my clients and said, I got to focus on getting this album done. So right now I'm personally juggling between like 10 records that aren't coming out till end of the year, because I already got like 6 projects already lined up. So, but typically I could be working with 15 to 20 clients a month on average. And so I'm juggling between that and my stuff. So, bro, it could be anywhere from like, 15 to 30, I guess, would be like a good number. But I try not to go over that because I pride myself on my ability to produce great work. So if I'm not confident in the music, I'll send it out to somebody else, because I don't want to mix a whole lot of stuff I'm not necessarily inspired by, but just feel like it's worthy of paying a guy like me to do. I also like to build with artists to like shape their sounds. So I pick a lot of artists to work with who are looking for an engineer who they can kind of produce quite a bit of music for. Because we're trying to shape a sound, and people don't really go to me for like your traditional conservative mix. People come to me for like really different music because I add like an artistic element inside my mixing that a lot of people don't do. So people like to hit me up and give me the freedom to say like, yo, I want to see how you reinterpret this record. So that requires like a special kind of individual. But yeah, I mean, 15 to 30 is like pretty good. I don't really like to go over that. And the only time I go under that is if I need to like glue in on stuff that I got coming out. Remind me in like 10-20 minutes. I'll definitely play some of the stuff off my next album that's dropping in like 6 weeks.
Got outside and I paint, back to the vomit. Foundation with chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint, and I only got gold today. Gold today. Gold today. Gold today. I can be caught up in them bills, playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got on inside all week. Got outside and I paint. Time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got on inside all week. Got outside and I paint. Back to the vibe. Got on inside all.
I also have like a really unique mixing style because for my clients it's just straight up and down, but for myself, because I don't write and I freestyle all my records, so I'm recording real time and thinking of my lyrics on the spot. I do like a light mix to capture the vibe and the energy of the record, and then I go back in and get it to about 50-60% by the time the song's done, and then I'll go back in and actually apply a proper mix. But at that point I'm already like 50-60% of the way in. I think capturing the vibe and the essence of the record's energy is like of utmost importance, and if you isolate that from your process when you're creating the song, you can get really boring music really quickly, or just music that just lacks dynamics. Like my music tends to be like a full experience, when I say vibe, I don't mean just like, oh, it's a vibe. Like I'm talking about, I'm trying to create an aesthetic, visual, sensory experience when I make my songs, and I think that's what makes them unique, is whether they're 30 seconds long or 5 minutes long, it's really honing in on the experience, and I stop writing when I feel like the experience is dead or lackluster. So that's why I don't really give myself a structure. I've been kind of getting out of the whole 16 chorus format, and sometimes I won't do a hook. Sometimes I have hooks all over the place. Sometimes I'll do half hooks. Sometimes I'll do 8 bar, 4 bar, 12 bar, 18 bar, 24 bar verses. It's just for me creating a narrative, creating an experience, and prioritizing that to be effective at what the song's musical palette is supposed to be And that's really freed me up to like focus on layers.
Shipping like paint, then I got back with the Saints, yeah. And my foundation is taint, and I only got gold today. Oink, 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 oink. Only got gold today. Oink, 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 oink.
All right, so we're gonna give this song a quick rest. Yeah, man, it's just, I really feel like to like grow and get outside of what you typically do if you want to be an artist like that, and that's kind of like how I get inspired because I've been making music for 20 years. So for me, inspiration and creativity is like I have to have that there to even pick up the microphone because I feel like I've said everything. So for me, it's the artistic side that really can have new place. And even like I used to be like a very dense lyrical rapper, and I feel like I still am. People just sleep extra hard on me. But like for me, to like get out of the box of like, I try to do different stuff. Like instead of using 60 words, can I be just as effective lyrically with 30 words? You can still be lyrical, but not have structure, but maybe you attack complexity from a different angle. Maybe you get complex with cadence. Maybe you get complex with space in the song, negative space. Maybe you get creative with layers, you know, and those are things that rappers don't really think about because all they do is they write and then they just rehearse what they write and they try to capture an essence of something they've already learned before. But that type of stuff doesn't interest me anymore because I've already done it so many times. You know, I've got thousands of songs. So, you know, my process is different. And then also just like the monotony of having a song that you're working on, but like getting bored or not being inspired for that particular vibe. You know, when I have 10 vibes laying around, I'm bound to be inspired by at least 2 or 3 of them. And it really helps to stimulate like a consistent workflow, which is another thing I think people lack, is they don't have like a consistent workflow where they're just cranking out music. And I think that's just because they don't have enough choices to work on. You got to really break out of your mold and work differently to produce insane amounts of results.
I came into the low like a nice breeze, fishing for love like a Pisces. Prism, you shining like cubes on an iced tea. I heard that you like the sightsee. Sitting in coach, you got nice seats. Walking along, I can't discover my sneaks. I'm praising God for the 19. He hit the scene and it changes, oh yeah. Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? 'Cause I love you.
So this record was already done, but I really hated the vocal texture of it because it was recorded with a bad microphone in a bad space. So I'm repunching the leads and trying to give it a whole different texture.
I came into the low like a nice breeze, fishing for love like a Pisces. Prism, you shine like cubes on an iced tea. I heard you like the sightsee. I came into the low like a nice breeze, fishing for love like a Pisces. Prism, you shining like cubes on an iced tea. I heard that you like the sightsee. Sitting in coach, you got nice seats. Walking along, I can't discover my seat.
Yeah, man, I think watching how I do things will definitely give you some different things to think about to incorporate in your process. And I just think we're in a new day and age, man. We got to find more creative, more inspirational, and more ways to work and be inspired. And when you have a lot of different things you can bounce in between, I think it makes things exciting and it takes the pressure off of having to wear the engineer hat or the artist hat, and you can kind of just wear them all and work on them all. You know, when one of the things that I learned as a painter was I used to be the kind of guy who would sketch out my painting and then I would work on the face all day, and then I'd work on the grass all day, and I would isolate these areas on the picture, and it led to a really amateur looking painting, because even though it had really good technical skill, there's no cohesion and harmony in the painting, and that's because I wasn't building up the painting together at all the elements. So my teacher started saying, hey, paint a lot lighter, build your layers of color, and touch the whole canvas, touch all areas of the canvas. If you have green, put green everywhere where there's green. Don't just put green where the flowers are right now and then work on the other areas where green's needed later. And then when I really started to like realize, oh shoot, when you actually touch all the parts of the canvas, even if it's just a tiny bit, as you start to build up, you build layers, you build harmony and cohesion, you get more inspired because you get new ideas because you're not so narrow-minded. And that stuff can all be like super encouraging to, and it ultimately leads to great art.
I came into the love like a nice breeze, fishing for love like a Pisces. Prism you shining like cubes in an iced tea. I heard that you like the sightseas. Isn't God for the 19? He at the scene and it changes, oh yeah. Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Cause I love you.
I'm gonna actually jump off this song because there's a lot to it, if you can tell. I really want to go back to that first song we listened to because I'm kind of getting some ideas about lyrics, but we'll get to it in a second.
Keep turning page. Another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. You got my heart like global warming. Okay. Yeah. You keep my head high when it's low, and I always hate when you go. Got me shut. Yeah. Got the same face that I saw. In my heart sink leaves in a fall. It's like I'm 13 running through the mall. You can have it all. Okay, take it, have it all. Leave the line open, I'ma call. In another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. You got my heart like global warming. Okay, yeah. You keep my head high when it's low, and I always hate when you go. Got me shoveling through the snow. Yeah. Got the same face that I saw. And my heart sink leaves in a fall.
So I'm gonna remaster this thing entirely. I don't make beats anymore, man. I have a team of producers that work with me. The only thing I do with beats is I might executive produce beats. Like if somebody sends me a mix and I'm like, yo, that beat needs to hit different. We need the stems to it or something like that. I'll do a lot of executive production. And in that case, I'm sequencing and I'm doing a little bit of sound design, but mostly just mixing the 2-track. So yeah, when it comes to mixing for clients, I'm mostly doing like post-production. By the way, Scape, I'm so sorry if I didn't say, hey, what's up to you. What's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, DMX, is sad to hear about that. But yeah, when I'm dealing with clients, I'll get production in, and I do more of an executive production role, which is where I'm taking stuff out, adding stuff, sound designing to make certain songs hit different. Like One of the things I would love to do, but I don't necessarily have a ton of time for, is work with aspiring producers who are getting a name for themselves and show them how to make their beats more radio ready or just like client ready. Because I feel like there's a lot of amazing producers that just have such terrible mixing skills that they'll just never get in a professional space. So one of the things I kind of would love to do is just train producers how to light mix their beats and to think through sound design when it comes to records, to make in like tonal balance, like how to make stuff have a proper low end, how to balance a song on the frequency spectrum, how to like make certain sounds stand out, how to position instruments in space, different things like that. Because there's a lot of technique in that I think's just dead. And a lot of mix engineers won't really touch 2 tracks from a sound design standpoint, or even stems for that matter, because they want to mix the arrangement. They don't want to sound design. But I've worked with a few producers to do that. But in the meantime, I'm just kind of doing it for my clients.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. You got my heart like a woman. Okay. Yeah.
So like, if you listen to this, let me just show you how a light master can completely change and amplify the energy of this song, tighten it up, and bring out the enhancements.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. You got my
So
heart
right
like
now,
a woman.
right now we're side chaining, we're mid-siding the EQ out because we're carving out the sub bass from the side. Because typically the 808 should run up the middle, but a lot of producers like to spread width on their 808s to make them hit different, and a lot of times that eats up headroom. So we're gonna EQ that completely off of the side, so the left and right side, so it runs right up the middle. We're gonna hack off 20 up to 20 hertz because you can't hear it. That'll give some headroom, because you can see the 808 slides kind of outside that range, which will eat up some headroom. We're gonna mid-side some brightness to the song at around 8K, just a little bit. Make sure you're doing it on the sides and not the center. You got my heart like a woman. We're gonna EQ out just a little bit of that top end. Like a woman. Okay. Yeah. You keep my head high when it's low, and I always hate when you go. I'm gonna bring up some of the mid-range. In another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. You got my heart like a woman. Okay. Yeah. You keep my head high when it's low, and I always hate when you go. Got me shoveling through the snow. Yeah. Got the same beats that I saw. Make my heart sink easy in the fall. It's like I'm 13. I'm gonna put it through this NLS Summer, which is just gonna run it through old consoles to give it a certain texture. In another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. So we want this song to sound light and airy, like a dream. So the Neve console, we're gonna run it through. We're gonna glue the track with some SSL comp on the bus. In another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. You got my heart like a woman. We don't want more than 2 to 3 dB of gain reduction and compression. In another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. And I turn the analog on to give it some vintages. In another morning, keep turning pages. Very light compression here to squeeze the track. In another morning, keep turning pages. We're gonna side chain some EQ to make the presence of the vocal come out. So watch how the vocal clarity just jumps out of the record right in this presence area. In another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. You got my heart like a woman. Okay. Yeah. You keep my head high when it's low, and I always hate when you go. Got me shoveling through the snow. Yeah. Got the same beats that I saw. And my heart sink easy in the fall. It's like I'm 13 running new mall. Yeah. We're gonna do some sonic exciting multi-band. This should bring the amplitude of the song up and excite some certain areas of the song.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storm. You got my heart like a woman. Okay.
I want to give the song a little more brightness. I'm going to cut a little bit of the low end, but take the super low sub end and bump it up again.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storm. You got my heart like a woman.
We're going to do some slight compression of some tape saturation to give it a warmth. So watch how warm and front this song goes.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storm. You got my heart like a woman.
Also gives the song a little bit of sizzle due to the tape hiss, so a little bit more brightness on the top end.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storm. You got my heart like a woman.
Now what the soft clipper is going to do is, unlike the limiter, it's not going to hit it brick wall style. It's just going to round off the transient peaks. So it's going to squeeze the song a little bit, give it some glue, but very tastefully and very musical.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storm. You got my.
And as we squeeze the song, we'll see the gain reduction here.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storm. You got my heart like a woman. Okay. Yeah. You keep my head high when it's low. And I always hate when you go. Got me shoveling through the.
See there, it's starting to sound a little bit smashed.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storm. You got my heart like a woman. Okay.
Alright, let's see what we're hitting on the maximizer. I'm going to turn some of the brightness down.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storm. You got my heart like a woman. Okay. Yeah. You keep my head high when it's low. And I always hate when you go. Got me shoveling through the.
So max volume is around -2 dB, so we could limit that and bring that up to ceiling if we need. I'm going to take it off digital because I typically never like to limit my songs.
In another morning.
We're shooting for about -10 dB on the long-term lefts. That should be able to compete with pretty much anything.
In another morning.
We're going to try. If it sounds too squeezed, we're going to let it go.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storm. You got my heart like a woman. Okay. Yeah. You keep my head high when it's low. And I always hate when you go. Got me shoveling through the snow. Yeah. Got the same beats that I saw. And my heart sink leaves in the fall. It's like a 13 on a new mall. Yeah. You can have it all. Okay, take it, have it all. Leave the line open, I'ma call. Yeah.
Now, one of the things I'm noticing is the low end is starting to sound really smashed, which actually isn't to taste. So we're going to EQ the sub to chill out. We don't need as much bass as what we're hearing.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the.
And that should free up some headroom to get a little more volume out of the song.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storm. You got my heart like a woman. Okay. Yeah. You keep my head high when it's low. And I always hate when you go. Got me shoveling through the snow. Yeah. Got the same beats that I saw. And my heart sink leaves in the fall. It's like a 13 on a new mall. Yeah. You can have it all. Okay, take it, have it all. Leave the line open, I'ma call. Yeah. A love like this I never seen. I was a kid, it's just a dream. Young kid in a fantasy. All in the classroom, daydream. Broken hearts as an early teen. Looking for a fantasy.
So we tuck that sub a little bit. Yeah, typically around 10 lefts is going to be good, but it depends on the song. Like if there's a lot going on, sometimes you can't squeeze it that hard. But typically 10's like a good target for streaming platforms and everything. It's a good balance across the board. it's still going to get turned down by the streaming platform, but you'd rather have them turn it down than turn it up because other elements come into play when they turn it up.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. You got my heart like a woman.
Now there's a little bit too much sizzle in my vocals.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. You got my heart like a woman. Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. You keep my head high when it's low. And I always hate when you go. Got me shoveling through the snow. Yeah, 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 yeah.
A little bit of bop.
In another morning, you got my heart like a woman. Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. You keep my head high when it's low. And I always hate when you go. Got me shoveling through the snow. Yeah, 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 yeah. Got the same face that I saw. And my heart sink leaves in the fall. It's like I'm 13 running through the mall. You can have it all. Okay, take it, have it all. Leave the line open, I'ma call. A love like this I never seen. I was a kid, it's just a dream. Young kid in a fantasy.
Alright, so now this is a lot of plugins. I was mixing in a different space. I don't think I needed this many. The EQ should be on a whole different channel, or the echo should be on a whole different channel, but we're just gonna ride with it because I don't really feel like going back. We're gonna bring in some of the low level. This is low level compression versus high level compression, so we should be able to hear the words come out a little bit sharper and sit on the beat a little bit more appropriately.
In another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. You got my heart like a woman. Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. You keep my head high when it's low. And I always hate when you go. Got me shoveling through the snow. Yeah, 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 yeah. Got the same face that I saw. And my heart sink leaves in the fall. It's like I'm 13 running through the mall. Yeah, 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 yeah. You can have it all. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. He running through the mall. Yeah, 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 yeah. You can have it all. Okay, take it.
Alright, we're gonna run the song from the top and see where we're at. We might be able to get away with limiting a little bit harder, but let's just see. We want long-term loves here, so we're gonna let this song run all the way through so it can really capture the average.
Another morning, keep turning pages through the storming. You got my heart like a woman. Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. You keep my head high when it's low. And I always hate when you go. Got me shoveling through the snow. Yeah, 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 yeah. Got the same face that I saw. And my heart sink leaves in the fall. It's like I'm 13 running through the mall. Yeah, 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 yeah. You can have it all. Okay, take it, have it all. Leave the line open, I'ma call. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A love like this I never seen. I was a kid, it's just a dream. Young kid in a fantasy. All in the clouds, daydream. Broken heart to an early teen. Looking for a fantasy. Back when life was vanity. Then you came like a slow burn. But I knew all I had to learn. We all got baggage, I ain't even concerned. Let's make a union, make it bond. Yeah, take me like a carry-on. A new day needs a new song. Yeah. Got the same face that I saw. And my heart sink leaves in the fall. It's like I'm 13 running through the mall. Yeah, 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 yeah. You can have it all. Okay, take it, have it all. Leave the line open, I'ma call. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not really gonna squeeze it too much harder past that.
Never seen all in the past, daydream. Broken heart to an early teen. Looking for a fantasy. Back when life was vanity.
So we're gonna go check that out in the car later. Any questions you guys might have, feel free to ask them in the chat. Appreciate all you guys rocking with me. We're gonna open up some more songs here. We're gonna try to get some recording in, so I might jump back to the last record, but we'll see. Yeah, typically the loudness war is really stupid, but you don't want to get into a situation where they're turning your record up, because a lot of other weird elements come into that where they're applying normalization and all that weird jazz. So I find that 10 can really compete. Anything around 10, 11, 12, 9, 8. If I had some better like analog gear that I was running this stuff through, I might be able to get some stuff louder. But if I'm not messing with a track where I have the stems to all of the instrumentation and I'm in like really good recording environment, I won't even really try to push the record that hard, because there's a lot of artifacts that are playing into why I can't get the song louder. But if you have around 10, you're really safe. So cool.
Shoveling through the snow, yeah, yeah.
Cool. Let's see what other records we're working on. What up, Colt? Good to see you, brother. Okay, so that, I don't know what the heck happened to that. Is that right here? It is right here. We'll work on that later, because it looks like that song's not really super developed.
Quiz, are you turned up?
Might get to hear me do something straight from scratch. I might lay some vocals down to this. See, this is what I'm talking about. You always got to have new ideas coming out. So what's the tempo of that record? 118. Records at like -10. Breathe.
Quiz, are you turned
Breathe.
up?
Breathe. 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 Breathe.
Quiz, are you turned up? Quiz, are you turned up? Quiz, are you turned up? you turned up? Quince, are 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 you turned up?
I've heard some people say to master in a different session. I've been doing it in the same. I mean, here's the thing, man. When you synthesize, meaning when you process what stuff you're going to learn at what time, there's going to be a time to arrive at when you want to isolate mastering from mixing. Absolutely. Because you need to have like a clean, unbiased, a fresh pair of ears. And that's why mastering engineers get paid what they do, because it is a profession. It is an art in and of itself. If you're an at-home guy and you're doing it off the mud, bro, you're going to have to master at the same time. You could step away, but a lot of the issue for artists is time. So to me, as long as here's the thing you don't want to do. You don't want to be the guy mixing and mastering and you're not learning and you're not applying yourself and you're not growing. And you also don't want to be the guy that is copying moves that other people make. You want to be applying intent and understanding. But when you're in the trenches and you're really trying to learn something, you need to do it a lot. And a lot of people don't have time because they have other jobs and they just don't have the space to just be able to go outside and then come back in and master or wait a day or two. It just slows down the musical process. The best thing that you can do to grow is to make music. Make music. Don't go on a smoke break. Don't go outside. Don't wait a week. Don't wait a month. That's for people who don't work. Straight up. Now, if you're doing this full time, absolutely you want to take a rest. You have to refresh your ears. You have to apply intent. You have to bring reference mixes and have context and do it the professional way, because it's going to result in a better product. But if you're not at that level, you're not really getting the better product. You're just wasting time. You need to be in the trenches with as much audio as possible, mixing and mastering. So for me, I'm in the trenches. I don't claim to be professional. I'm an amateur. But I work my tail off to understand mixing and mastering. So every time I'm mastering, the next day I master. And for me, volume is everything, because volume is practice. And the more I practice, the sharper I get. So for me, being in front of this DAW, mixing and making music is elevating me. And you can see it in the work. I have more music than most people sitting in the cut. My music improves at a much faster rate year to year because I'm making 100 times more music than the average person. I'm understanding things better. I'm getting context. I'm getting healthy perspective. And that's the most important thing that you need to do. So if you're a guy like me who's in the trenches, master in the same session if it means you're going to be making more music. Now make sure with your dull time, when you're not mixing and mastering, you're learning, you're listening to references, you're learning from people who do this full time and do it the proper way, and incorporate bit by bit into your toolkit so that you can improve. Because as long as you're improving and as long as you're creating, you're always going to do a lot more damage than the person next to you. You're going to grow faster. You're going to have much better perspective on where your growth actually is. Like, a lot of people think they're growing and they're not growing at all. they're growing very slow because they allocate such a small amount of time to this craft. So my advice is, dude, if mastering in the same session means that you're going to get to make more music, then make the mistakes, listen to your music and be like, yo, going into this next song, this is what I'm going to change. Don't try and focus on creating Mozart level works and then going back in time, and now you've made one Mozart level work in 2 years, and the next guy next to you made slightly more subpar music maybe, but he's got 3 albums. That guy's growing way faster than you. Eventually, when he applies himself, he's gonna hit a ceiling where he passes you, and you're not catching up anytime soon because you have no experience. You have no perspective, context, experience, practice, understanding. You're working at such a snail's pace. So yeah, hopefully that helped.
Chris, are you turkey? Damn. 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 Chris, are you turkey? Damn.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I think a lot of people think too hard, man. Like, you think too hard, and you got to really discern yourself, man. You got to really check yourself and be like, yo, am I overthinking this and paralyzing myself? Am I not working? Am I using being unprepared and being novice as an excuse not to create and play in the mud and like really go through the hard work? Am I trying to cut corners? Am I actually being lazy? You know what I mean? You got to have a real heart to heart. And like, I think a lot of times when you look at people who hesitate and people who think too hard, the reality is when you really look at it with how they're spending their time and what they're spending their money on and all that, and you look at their weekly schedule, the agenda says, I am not being productive. I'm actually just in my dead time thinking about something a little bit, but not really growing as fast as I want to grow. And a lot of that's due to just laziness and lack of self-awareness, lack of self-accountability, and not working. That's it, man. That's really the name of the game. When you get to a freakish work ethic, everything gets pushed out of the way. You don't have time. I was just talking to Colt about this. You will not have time to be insecure. You will not have time to hesitate. You won't have time to wonder what's the next step. You just throw work in front of you. And as you throw that work in front of you, you start to purpose it to be effective. You have to go through an ineffective stage. You don't know what the heck you're doing. But what are you going to do? Try and let somebody else's journey tell you how to dictate your journey, and then you're just going to sit around and watch all day? You're going to be a guy who consumes and watches and who's not a practitioner out in the field? Okay, well, you just ain't going to have a lot of progress. It's going to be so slow. You're going to be second guessing yourself. You're going to be judging yourself based off other people. Most importantly, you're going to be making false assumptions about why you're not where you want to be. I mean, it just gets toxic. So like some of it's vibe, but for the most part, when I turn my head when I do ad libs, I'm typically closing off the top end because I don't want the character of my ad libs to sound the same as the verse. And a lot of times when you're ad libbing, you're shooting like quick, loud audio into the microphone. So when I turn away or I move back or I bob my head or whatever, I'm getting out of the direct range of the microphone so that the ad libs come off softer with a different texture. And when I do that a couple different times, it gives every ad lib a different sonic character, typically darker than the vocals, which allows my vocals to come more forward. And it also adds space, because if I talk over here versus talking right up on the mic, you get a different texture. If I talk back here, if I say something where I'm like, yo, and it starts close and then leaves you, that's dynamics. And it's also space. You're hearing the vocal left, mid, and left. So some of it's vibe and you just get into it and you do it by mistake. But most of it is to give the ad-libs a different sonic character. You'll never see me move off the mic on a lead vocal punch-in, never. Because the lead vocal should sit right in front of your face. And another thing I was experimenting with is I'm actually gonna start investing in lower end mics like the SM58, the Beta, 58A, 57A, these darker microphones and even some ribbon microphones, and have them pulled up next to me so I can transition between microphones. That way when I'm doing my ad-libs, they're actually coming from a completely different microphone texture. You can do that in here. Like for instance, I have this cool plug-in from T-Rax. I should do this more. This mic room plug-in where I can actually change my microphone from an EQ standpoint to a U87, ribbon microphones, all the classics, and give it a completely different texture. But I before I had something like this, I was doing it this way, so it's just a part of my process. It's caked in now. But yeah, that's another thing I like to do is, again, adding to the experience, trying different microphone textures will allow your song to have different textures of vocals without having to do all this effects processing.
So you turkey.
I'm gonna go pee real quick while you guys listen to this. I'll be right back and I'm gonna answer this phone call.
So you turkey.
Let's see if we can churn out some lyrics.
So you turkey. So you turkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you turkey.
I gotta figure out what key this song's in. I think it's B minor.
you turkey up? Quiz, are you turkey up? Quiz, are you turkey up?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, beginning of the song is always the hardest, so let's think of where we're gonna go with this. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. thinking of my tone, because the tone I'm gonna kind of do unorthodox, but I want to make sure it's still within fairly in key range.
Breathe, 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 breathe.
Who get life? Who get life? Who get life? Who get life?
Breathe, breathe.
Who get life? Who get life? Who get life? Who get life?
Is the key right?
Breathe.
Who get life? Who get life? Who get life? Who get life?
Breathe.
Who get life? Who get life? Who get life? Who get life?
Breathe.
Who get life? Who get life? Who get life? Who get life?
Breathe.
Who get life? Who get life? Who get life? Who get life?
Breathe.
Who get life? Who get life? Who get life? Who get life?
Breathe. Breathe. Breathe.
Who get life?
Breathe.
Who get life?
Who get life?
Who get life?
Who get life?
Gotta get it a little bit lower.
Who get life? 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 Breathe. 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 Who get life?
Quincy, are you turkey? Damn.
Breathe. Who get life?
Who be in the woman get to choose a life?
Breathe.
Who be in the woman get to choose a life?
Breathe. Who get life?
Who be in the woman get to choose a life?
Breathe. Who get life?
Who be in the woman get to choose a life?
Oh, it's not in key. Okay. I was like, what?
Breathe. Who get life?
Who be in the woman get to choose a life?
Breathe. Who get life?
Who be in the woman get to choose a life?
Breathe.
Who be in the woman get to choose a life?
All right, so these. Wait.
To choose a life.
Oh, I see. I see.
To choose a life.
Who get life?
Who be in the woman?
Take care, Colt. Appreciate you stopping by, brother.
Who get life? Breathe. Who get life?
Who be in the woman get to choose a life?
Breathe. Who get life? Breathe.
Who gets life? Who gets life?
Breathe. Breathe.
Who gets life?
Yeah.
Breathe.
Who gets life?
Breathe.
Who gets life? Who gets life? Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life?
Yellow man. Who be yellow man? Who be yellow man?
Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Choose a life. Yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight?
Breathe.
Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight?
Breathe.
gets life? Who be in the breathe? Who gets life? Breathe. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool? Choose a life. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Choose a life. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Choose a life. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Choose a life. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Choose a life. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Choose a life. Who be all around it like a fool fight?
Oh yeah, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. You have a great night.
Who gets life? Who be in a woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Who gets life? Who be in a woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Woman get to choose a life. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Be all around it like a fool fight. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Kept it all done. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Kept it all. Kept it on down like a scoot. Kept it on down like a scoot. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Kept it all down like a school night. All down like a. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Kept it all down like a school night, yeah. Kept it all down like a school night, yeah. Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Kept it all down like a school night, yeah. Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Breathe. Who gets life? Breathe. Who gets life? Who be on the woman get to choose a. Who be in the. Breathe. Who gets life?
I gotta actually.
Are you turkey? Damn.
Breathe. Who gets life? Who be in the. Breathe. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Kept it all down like a school night. Running like a fool fight. 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 Hold it down, done it. Running like a fool fight. Running like a fool fight. Yeah. Hold it all down it in the school night. Yeah. Running like a fool fight. Yeah. Hold it all down it in the school night. Yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Yeah. Who be all.
Ah, shoot.
Who be all around it like a fool fight? Yeah. Hold it all down at the school night, yeah. Who be all around it all down at the school night, yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Who
Hold it up.
Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down at the school night, yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down at the school night, yeah. Fool fight. Hold it all down in the school night, yeah. Fool fight. Hold it all down in the school night, yeah. Running like a fool fight. Hold it all down in the school night, yeah. Running like a fool fight. Hold it all down in the school night, yeah. Y'all are running like a fool fight. Hold it all down in the school night, yeah. Y'all are running like a fight. Hold it all down in the school night, yeah. Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it up.
Ah, shoot.
Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Hold it, breathe. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it up, breathe. Who gets life? Breathe, breathe, breathe. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah, yeah. Breathe. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to breathe? Who gets breathe? Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Breathe. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Breathe. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Choose a life. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah.
What up? How you doing? Good to see you in the chat.
Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Around it like a fool fight. Around it like a fool fight. Around it like a fool fight. Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Fight. Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Fight. Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Fight. Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Fight. Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night. Who gets life? Who be free? Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Who gets life? Who gets life? Who be on the woman get to Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah.
I don't like the verse right here.
Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night to choose a life. Who be all around it like a fool to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? To choose a life. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it to choose a life. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Who be all around it like a fool fight? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and
Hold it all down and in the school night. Ah, shoot.
Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Who be all around fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Like a fool fight. Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for stopping by.
Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a fool fight? Hold it all down and in the school night, yeah. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life. Who be all around it like a food fight? Hold it all down, it ain't a school night, yeah. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a food fight? Hold it all down, it ain't a school night, yeah. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a food fight? Hold it all down, it ain't a school night, yeah. Breathe. Who gets life? Who be in the woman get to choose a life? Who be all around it like a food fight? Hold it all down, it ain't a school night, yeah.
I don't like these bars right here. These are like not in sync.
Down, it ain't a school night, yeah.
I'm gonna be live for like another 5 minutes or so, maybe 10.
Yeah, my foundation is taint, and I only got gold today. Hey, hey, young woo, young
Yeah, you're right about that.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Ay, ay, I can be caught up in the beat, playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got one side all week. Got outside that I paid. Back to the vomit I ate. Foundation was chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint. And I only got gold today. Oy, 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 oy. Oy, 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 yeah. Oy, oy, yeah. Oy, oy, I go today. Oy, oy, I go today. Oy, 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 yeah. I go today. Oy, 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 yeah. Oy, 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 yeah. I only got gold today. Oy, 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 yeah. Oy, yeah. Oy, yeah. Oy, yeah. Like a candlelight. 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 Oh yeah, like a candlelight. Got us both standing bright. Oh yeah, like a candlelight. You got us both standing bright. Candlelight. Got us both standing bright. Candlelight. You got us both standing bright. Got us both standing bright. Oh yeah, like a candlelight. You got us both standing bright. Oh yeah, like a candlelight. You got us both standing bright. Oh yeah, like a candlelight. You got us both standing bright. You got us both standing bright. Got us both standing bright. Candlelight, you got us both standing bright. Look like chandeliers. Candlelight, you got us both standing bright. Look like chandeliers. Got us both standing bright. Looking like chandeliers. Got us both standing bright. Looking like chandeliers. You got us both standing bright. Yeah, looking like chandeliers. You got us both standing bright. Yeah, looking like chandeliers. You got us both standing bright. Yeah, looking like chandeliers. Young woo, young woo. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Ay, ay, ay. Looking like chandeliers. Got us both standing bright. Yeah, looking like chandeliers. Got us both standing bright. Yeah, looking like chandeliers. Got us both standing bright. Yeah, looking like chandeliers. Got us both standing bright. Yeah, looking like chandeliers. Got us both standing bright. Yeah, looking like chandeliers. Got us both standing bright. Yeah, looking like chandeliers. Got us both standing bright. Yeah. got us all standing bright, yeah, looking like chandeliers. Got us all standing bright, got us all standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers. Got us all standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers.
Oh my gosh, that
Got us all standing bright,
ah.
got us all standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers. Got us all standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers. Standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers. You got us all standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers. You got us all standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers.
Weez, you don't get the privilege of hopping on all my fire because you decide to. Hey, put it like this. You drop another project, and we'll put some more music together. Can't be cherry picking. Can't be cherry picking, bro.
Like a candlelight, you got us all standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers. You got us all standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers. You got us all standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers. You got us all standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers. And I couldn't plan this life. You got chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life. Chandeliers, chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life. Chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life. Yeah, we looking like chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life. Yeah, we looking like chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life. Yeah, we looking like chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life.
The key is like so odd.
Yeah, we looking like chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life. Yeah, we looking like chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life.
Sometimes I have to bend myself vocally to get some of these sounds because the dang tuner is so odd.
Chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life. I can be caught up in them bills, playing okay. This is our time of day. We ain't got no time to waste. You stuck in my mind like clay. Got one side all way. Got outside that I paid. Back to the vomit I ate. Foundation was chipping like paint. Then I got back with the Saints, yeah. Now my foundation is taint, and I only got gold today. Yeah, like a candlelight. You got us all standing bright. Yeah, we looking like chandeliers, and I can like a candlelight. You got us all standing bright. Yeah, we looking like chandeliers. Like a candlelight. You got us all standing bright. Yeah, we looking like chandeliers. Like a candlelight. Like a candlelight. You got us all standing bright. Yeah, we looking like chandeliers. Like a candlelight. Got us all standing bright. Yeah, we looking like chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life.
Wes, I'm telling you, bro, like, this stuff is, like, all in the future. But, like, listen, man, the vibes I have coming towards Christmas are so stupid, it's not even funny. Like, I'm hoping the EP springboards you and Wayne into a relentless amount of output of music this year, because I really want you guys to like establish yourselves and get to where you're making good money and stuff. And once you get to that point, like, the amount of new styles that I have coming out, dude, are so ridiculous. When we fuse all that energy together, it'll be crazy. But I want you guys to focus on your solo stuff right now, because like, you got to get your numbers up, because like more people just need to hear about you guys, and I want you guys to establish that infrastructure that you can live on, and that's like way more important than just like making bangers.
Standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life.
Dude, all of this is the best. What do you mean? There is no best.
Standing bright, yeah, we looking like chandeliers, and I couldn't plan this life.
Yeah, like, sometimes, like, because I don't have pro and I don't slide, sometimes I dance in and out of a key range. So sometimes you could change the key, but sometimes in one melodic run, there's a key switch. So unless you have pro, you can't slide a particular note into a different key range than the rest. So I just change the tonality of it to make it work within the key range and then move on, rather than like, oh, I have to have it this way. But my style can do that. Like for other people, sometimes it might come off as being off key because they don't really, they're trying to stay in key the whole time, and that's not really like my sound.
Like a candlelight, you got us standing bright. You be looking bright, you be looking like chandelier. And I can standing bright, you be looking like chandelier. And I can plan this life. 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 Yeah, you got this grand plan. And I can plan this life. Yeah, you got this grand plan.
You have an awesome night, bro. Love you, man.
I can plan this life. Yeah, you got this grand plan. Yeah, you got this grand plan. I can plan this life. Yeah, you got this grand plan. I can plan this life. Yeah, you got this grand plan. I can plan this life. Yeah, you got this grand plan. Plan this life, yeah, you got this grand plan. And I can plan it right. Grand plan, and I can plan it right. And I can plan it right. Yeah, you got this grand plan. And I can plan it right. Yeah, you got this grand plan. And I can plan it right. I can plan it right. Yeah, you got this grand plan. And I can plan it right. Yeah, you got this grand plan. Yeah, you got this grand plan, and I can plan it right. Yeah, you got this grand plan, and I can plan it right. And I can plan it right. Plan it right. Plan it right. And I can plan it right.
Yeah, but that's a razor edge, because you say that, but I'm telling you, they absolutely can be cool, and in fact, they're way more cool than singing in key, in my opinion. However, you have to be able to execute that, like, to come off wavy and slightly out of key. Like, that's where the greats shine, is being able to dip in and out. Same thing with instrument players, being able to be off key and on key with a certain style and wave. But a lot of the people that I hear in this space that experiment to that level aren't the geniuses they think they are to be able to pull that stuff off. It actually comes off very amateur. So, like, it's easy to say that that stuff's doable because it is, but the execution side is way harder than people think, man. And, like, I could spot a singer who really knows how to sing, whether they're more simple or more dynamic, like, right away, just by their vocal technique.
Looking like chandelier, and I can plan this life. Yeah, you got this grand plan, and I can plan it right. And I can plan this life. Yeah, you got this grand plan, and I can plan it right. Yeah, you got this.
You also have to live with that style a lot, because you can't just, like, sporadically be like, oh, I'm going to slightly bend the key. Like, no, you got to be really familiar in that space and actually practice that a lot, because you're going to fail a lot in that area. I used to be the same way. Like, if you listen to music from me from, like, a year ago, you'll notice, like, no, that stuff wasn't lit.
Yeah, you got this grand plan, and I can plan it right. Yeah, you got this grand plan, and I can plan it right. and I could've planned it right. Yeah, and I need a praise break. Plan right, yeah, and I need a praise break. Plan it right, and I could've planned it right. Yeah, and I need a praise break. And I could've, yeah, and I need a praise break. And I could've planned it right. Yeah, I need a, and I could've planned it right. I need a praise break. And I could've planned it right. I need a praise break. Praise break. I need a praise break. I need a praise break. Plan it right. 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 Break. I need a praise break. I need a praise break. Thank you, God. I need a praise break. Thank you, God. I need a praise. Gonna plan it right. I need a praise break. Thank you, God. Gonna plan it right. Thank you, God. I need a praise break. Thank you, God. 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 Praise break. Thank you, God. Praise break. Praise break. Thank you, God. Praise break. Praise break. Thank you, God. Praise break. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Hey, hon. You want to listen to this real quick? This song's fire. This is I'm swapping this out with Green Day. This is gonna be the last track for you.
What do you mean? Why are you swapping it?
Because it's just gonna take me too long. I'll release it later in life.
Okay.
Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna have to mute my mic to do this.
Young woo, baby. Wait a minute. I can be caught up in the bed, playing.
What's wrong with that low end? What the heck? That's weird. That low end is like crap. What the heck? Something's going on with that. I'll show you it later. I'm gonna turn this stream off. That's weird. That low end sounds like absolute garbaggio. I'm gonna turn the stream off, guys, so I can talk to my wife because she just got home. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you guys are notified, because yeah, it's cool getting the notifications when I message you, but if you're not online or something like that, it's cool to get a text just saying that I went live. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I will answer them, and you guys are dope, man. Thank you so much for sliding through. With that being said, y'all have an awesome night, and we will